When she first leaves, it feels like the entire world has collapsed. Every conversation you shared replays endlessly in your mind, every laugh, every disagreement, every moment you thought mattered comes back with a sharper edge. Every memory stings like a wound you didn't know was still open, and the silence she leaves behind is deafening. You tell yourself, this is it. She's gone for good. She's never coming back. In that moment, it feels like your entire universe has been stripped from you. Your thoughts become a cage, replaying the what-ifs and if-onlys over and over. You start believing the lie that her decision is permanent, that her emotions are fixed, and that the bond you shared has vanished forever. But here's what most men don't understand: women do not live in permanent states. Their emotions move, shift, and cycle like tides. What feels absolute today can feel completely different tomorrow. The same woman who once swore she would never leave still walked away. The same woman who now swears she will never return may still find herself back in your life, though not in the way you imagined. Her feelings are real in the moment, but they are not eternal. They are shaped by intensity, circumstance, and perspective. And if you hinge your emotional stability on her words, on the heat of her anger or disappointment, you will suffer needlessly. Her departure is not the end of your story, it is merely a turning point. The pain, the loss, the ache you feel right now is not a sentence, it is a moment, a test, and an opportunity. Understanding this truth is the first step to reclaiming your power, to standing unshaken in her absence, and to realizing that the man she walked away from is not gone, he is just beginning to rise. When a woman leaves, she often convinces herself that her decision is permanent. She tells her friends, "I'm done. I can't go back. He's not what I need." She may even say it to you directly, with words sharp enough to cut deep, designed to make her exit feel irrevocable. And in that moment, it can feel like nothing will ever change. But those words are rarely rooted in unchanging truth. They are born from the intensity of her current emotions: anger, frustration, disappointment, or even a sense of being trapped. Emotions are fleeting, ever-shifting, and influenced by time, reflection, and distance. What she feels in the heat of a breakup may be entirely different weeks, months, or even years later. Distance has a way of softening the sharp edges of memory. When she is removed from your life, the imperfections she once saw begin to blur. The arguments, the mistakes, the frustrations, they fade in comparison to the moments of joy, intimacy, and connection. She starts remembering the laughter you shared, the subtle ways you understood her without words, the moments when your presence made her feel safe and valued. Gradually, what seemed unbearable in her absence begins to feel missed. Regret doesn't always arrive suddenly, it creeps in silently, a slow realization that the fantasy she chased outside of your relationship isn't as fulfilling as she imagined. She begins to compare her imagined life with reality, and reality, your life, your consistency, your presence, starts to shine brighter in her mind. That's when doubt surfaces. Did she make the right choice? Did she underestimate what she had with you? That doubt, born from reflection and the passage of time, often brings women back, not because they were forced to leave, but because absence allows clarity. And clarity can change everything. But here's the truth most men miss: her return doesn't depend solely on her emotions, it depends entirely on how you respond in her absence. When she leaves, most men fall into predictable patterns: they chase, plead, beg, and lose themselves in a desperate attempt to bring her back. Every call, every message, every display of desperation confirms her decision, validates her exit, and reinforces her belief that leaving was the right choice. Chasing proves to her that she still holds power over you. But when you do the opposite, when you hold your ground, protect your peace, and continue building your life as if she never existed, you change the entire dynamic. Nothing unsettles a woman more than realizing she left and you didn't collapse. She expects panic, she expects heartbreak, she expects a man so consumed by her absence that his life comes to a standstill. When you refuse to play that role, she starts replaying your life together in her mind. Doubt slowly creeps in. Did I misjudge him? Did I overestimate my importance? Did I lose something more valuable than I realized? That doubt works quietly, more powerfully than any text, any speech, or any plea could ever work. It is the quiet, the calm, the refusal to be shaken that turns the tables. And while she wrestles with her thoughts, you continue to live, to grow, to rise, untouched by her absence. Your strength becomes magnetic because it proves something she cannot deny: you are bigger than any one woman's decision. Your life continues, your purpose remains, and your value does not waver. And it is in that space of unwavering self-mastery that her mind begins to reconsider, to reflect, and perhaps, to realize what she truly left behind. Most women don't walk away into reality. They walk away into fantasy. In their minds, leaving isn't just leaving you, it's stepping into a new life they've imagined. They create scenarios where life outside your relationship is brighter, freer, more exciting. They imagine new men who are more attentive, more thrilling, more validating. They picture adventures, endless freedom, a life without limits. But fantasy rarely holds up under the weight of reality. The life they imagine outside your presence almost never matches the truth. While you are enduring the silence, holding your frame, and continuing to live, she is chasing an illusion. At first, it may feel intoxicating to her, the novelty of imagined freedom, the excitement of potential opportunities. But reality has a way of settling in. The people she meets are not you. The moments she experiences are not the depth she had with you. The thrill of novelty fades, the new attention grows shallow, and the imagined perfection begins to crumble. That is when absence starts working its quiet power. As the fantasy falls short, her mind drifts back to the realness she left behind. She remembers you, the stability, the consistency, the loyalty, the quiet strength that she may not have fully appreciated before. She begins to compare the imagined world she chased to the tangible, reliable, meaningful life she walked away from. That comparison brings clarity. Regret begins to creep in slowly, often unnoticed at first. It doesn't always appear as a dramatic revelation, it grows quietly, planting seeds of reflection. She starts to realize that what she sought outside was temporary, shallow, or unsatisfying, and what she left behind was rare, substantial, and irreplaceable. That is when the pull back toward you begins, not because you begged, not because you chased, but because your life, your presence, and your strength have become the standard she cannot ignore. Silence is your greatest weapon after she leaves. Women expect noise in the aftermath of a breakup. They expect calls, messages, explanations, begging, and pleading. They expect a man to crumble, to fight for her, to prove that she is the center of his world. When you give them that, you reinforce the story she has already created, that she holds the power, that she is the prize, that your life revolves around her. But when you do the opposite, when you remain calm, composed, and focused on your own growth, you flip the script completely. Suddenly, her mind begins to question everything. Does he not care? Did I misjudge him? Did I overestimate my importance? That doubt gnaws at her far more than any text, any argument, or any attempt to win her back ever could. And it doesn't end there. Many women test from a distance. She may block you and then unblock you. She may view your posts, send a casual message, or check in under the guise of curiosity. Most men fail at this point. They jump at the first sign of attention, pouring out emotions, trying to convince her to return. But that only confirms her power over you. The key is transformation. Words, excuses, and promises mean little. What matters is action, growth, and evolution. Become stronger, sharper, more disciplined, more successful. Show her that the man she left behind is not the same man she thought she knew. When she sees your transformation, when she witnesses the life you've built without her, regret begins to take root. She starts realizing that what she dismissed as ordinary has become extraordinary. That realization is painful. It forces her to confront her own choices and, slowly, silently, she begins to feel the pull of what she lost, not because of your words, but because of the strength and stability you built in her absence. Even when she comes back, it rarely happens the way you imagine. She won't always return with apologies or confessions. She won't always admit that leaving was a mistake. Often, she returns quietly, subtly, almost casually, testing the waters without giving away her pride. A message out of nowhere, a like on a photo, a coincidental meeting, a casual question about your life, these are her breadcrumbs, her way of checking if she still has access to you. And this is where your strength must be at its peak. Do not rush to reopen the door. Do not hand her the same man she walked away from. Show her, through your actions and presence, that your life does not revolve around her return. Make her earn her way back, if she is to earn it at all. Understand that her return is rarely about love, it's about ego, curiosity, and testing boundaries. She may have tried life outside and found it lacking. She may have sought attention, excitement, or validation, only to discover that none of it measures up to the stability, loyalty, and depth you provided. That is when clarity hits her, she left something rare behind. And that is where your transformation matters most. The man she sees now is not the one she left. You have grown stronger, sharper, more disciplined, more grounded. You are no longer the man she could control, manipulate, or define. Your rise becomes your victory, whether she comes back or not. If she returns, she comes to a stronger, untouchable version of yourself. If she does not, your life remains richer, fuller, and more complete without her. Her leaving was never the end, it was the beginning of your transformation. Your power lies not in her return, but in the man you became in her absence. That is the truth most men miss. Always choose the rise. Always choose yourself.